Could you survive a prehistoric drought? Imagine a world without faucets, without pipes, without a single bottle of water waiting on a shelf. Imagine a sun so brutal it cracks the earth beneath your feet, a sky so empty of rain that the bones of giant animals lie bleaching in the dust for miles around. This is not a nightmare. This is the ordinary reality our earliest ancestors faced, roughly 1.8 million years ago, on the drying plains of ancient Africa. And their search for water was more desperate, more deadly, and more important than almost anything you can imagine. In those distant ages, the climate of East Africa swung violently. For centuries, rivers might flow and grasslands might bloom. Then, within a single generation, the rains could vanish. The world our early human ancestors knew would begin to die around them. Lakes shrank into mud. Mud hardened into cracked crust. Cracked crust became endless dust. And the small groups of hominins who wandered these plains were forced to make a brutal choice: stay and die beside the memory of water, or walk into the unknown in search of more. This is the story of one such group. A clan of 8, no larger than a modern family reunion, bound together by blood, by need, and by a single overwhelming thirst. They woke one morning at a waterhole that had served them for years. They found it dry. Not low. Not muddy. Dry. The hippopotamus skull that once lay in the shallows was now half buried in dust, and flies crawled across its bones. In that moment, these ancient people faced the question every living thing eventually faces: move or perish. They moved. What you need to understand about a prehistoric drought is that it attacks from every direction. The sun, which in wetter years is life itself, becomes a silent killer. Temperatures on the open savanna can soar past 50 degrees Celsius during the hottest part of the day. Without water, the human body begins to fail within hours. The lips crack. The tongue swells. The thoughts grow slow and heavy. Decisions that seemed obvious become impossible puzzles. And unlike a modern traveler, our ancestors had no map, no compass, no knowledge of what lay 50 miles ahead. They had only the land itself, and the memories passed down from their elders. They also had something else, something we sometimes forget. They had each other. Every adult in that clan carried knowledge. One had learned to read the flight patterns of birds. Birds fly toward water at dusk. Another had learned to sniff the wind for the faint green scent of distant leaves. A third could split open a thorny succulent and extract the few drops of pale sap hidden inside. These were not superpowers. These were skills earned across a lifetime, passed from parent to child, generation after generation, stretching back further than memory itself. And yet, knowledge alone was not enough. As our clan walked, they passed the evidence of others who had failed. Bleached skeletons of gazelles. Rib cages of antelope half buried in sand. The crumpled bones of other hominins, perhaps cousins, perhaps strangers, who had taken the same gamble and lost. Vultures circled overhead. The earth itself seemed to whisper, "You are next." Here is where we must confront an uncomfortable truth. Survival in the ancient world did not belong to the strongest. It did not belong to the fastest. It belonged, again and again, to those who could endure, to those who could keep walking when every cell in the body begged to stop. It belonged to those who could think one more step ahead while half dead with thirst. It belonged to those who, when a child stumbled and fell, did not leave him behind, but lifted him onto tired shoulders and carried him forward. Why? Because a lone survivor in the prehistoric savanna was a dead survivor. Only the group endured. Only cooperation endured. This is perhaps the deepest lesson our ancestors carved into us through tens of thousands of generations. That we are, at our core, creatures who survive together or not at all. As our clan pressed onward, the land fought back. A dust storm rose from the horizon, a wall of red grit that swallowed the sun. In that chaos, a single moment of separation could mean a lifetime of silence. And yet they held to one another. A hand reached back, a hand reached forward, and the line of the clan held. When the storm cleared, they saw it, a faint, impossible thread of green on the horizon. Could it be real? Could it be water? The only way to know was to walk. And walk they did, beyond exhaustion, beyond reason, carrying the youngest on aching shoulders, until at last they crested a rise and saw below them something almost unbelievable. A narrow valley, living acacia trees, green leaves whispering in the wind, and a stream. A real, flowing, clear stream, winding between the reeds. There is no word in any modern language for what they felt in that moment. Relief is too small. Joy is too shallow. It was something older, something closer to the feeling of being given, for one more day, the gift of existence itself. They fell to their knees. They cupped the water in calloused hands. The dust of days washed from their faces in clean streaks, and the children laughed, perhaps for the first time in weeks. But the prehistoric world does not allow pure happiness for long. Hyenas watched from the ridge, drawn by the same water. The clan had to fight to hold what they had found, throwing stones, brandishing sharpened sticks, making themselves large and loud until the predators retreated. Even paradise, in the ancient world, came with teeth. And here is perhaps the most important lesson of all. These early humans did not simply drink and forget. They rested. They healed. They taught the young to knap new stone tools. They wove stronger carriers for the infant. They scouted the surrounding hills. And they remembered that this stream, too, might one day run dry. So they began to imagine beyond it. They traced maps in the dust. They studied the distant horizon, where yet another faint line of green hinted at another oasis, another chapter, another chance. This is the quiet genius of our kind. We do not just survive. We plan. We remember. We share what we have learned with those who come after, so that they might not have to learn it through suffering. Every generation of early humans built on the knowledge of the last, a slow, invisible library written in gestures and in stone. So, could you survive a prehistoric drought? The honest answer is, not alone. No one could. Not the strongest warrior, not the cleverest thinker, not the swiftest runner. Only together. Only by carrying each other. Only by refusing to let the youngest fall behind, by refusing to abandon the weakest, by pooling every fragment of knowledge and every drop of courage into a single shared will to keep going. When our clan finally left the oasis behind, walking on toward the next distant promise of green, they carried full water pouches, sharpened tools, and something even more precious, the memory that they had survived once and could survive again. They did not know it, but the descendants of clans just like theirs would one day walk every continent on Earth, would raise cities from dust, would send their voices into space. Every ounce of what we call civilization was seeded, in those brutal ancient days, by ancestors who looked drought in the face and simply refused to stop walking. The brutal search for water shaped them. It shaped their bodies, their minds, their communities. And in a deep, quiet way that we rarely stop to feel, it shaped us too. So the next time you turn on a tap and clear, cool water flows without thought, without effort, pause for just a moment. Somewhere in your blood, a very old memory stirs. A memory of cracked earth and burning sun. A memory of a clan of 8, walking side by side into the unknown, choosing hope over despair, and choosing each other every single step of the way.